by the way, this is a friend of mine, Tree.
I am Groot!
I am Steve Rogers.
I can't stop this feeling deep inside of me. Girl, you just don't realize what you do to me. When you hold me in your arms so tight, you let me know everything's alright. Hooked on a feeling, I'm high on believing that you're in love with me.
I'm sorry you had to see that. Hey guys, PopGamer1202 here, and we are officially in Endgame week, which is awesome, and to celebrate, we're talking about Guardians of the Galaxy. Music is a huge part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, especially when it comes to both Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and 2, which use music to further pursue the story. Now, if you head over to the playlist I created on my channel titled Best Marvel Videos, you will find a bunch of fun Marvel music, like the cast of Infinity War singing the Marvel Brady Bunch parody, or Hawkeye singing about his superpowers with Jimmy Fallon, or even an awesome rap titled Endgame by rapper Eco, along with a bunch of other things like fan edits and music videos. I love soundtracks within the MCU. I think there are movies in this universe that just have amazing soundtracks, and music is one of my favorite parts of the MCU. Like I said, especially when it comes to Guardians of the Galaxy, which uses music to pursue the story. It's unique, it's fun, it works. And heading into Endgame, there's one song that keeps playing on a loop in my head.
I like 'em chunky, I like 'em big, I like 'em plumpy, I like 'em round.
No, not that song. The other song. Alright, yeah, there you go. So, if you enjoy, make sure to show support down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and if you do, feel free to hit that little bell icon to be notified whenever I upload. Now, you may notice that I have a little bit of a different setup here. I'm actually sitting down to film this review. It's a lot more of a comfortable position and less awkward for you guys with me wiggling around so much. So, I'm going to try this. If you like it, let me know in the comments below. I think I kind of just like being up close to the camera more than I do being farther back. I like this setup a little bit better, so I'm gonna try this from now on. I know it's weird, gonna have to wait. I'm getting used to it too. I've also got a light now and a tripod, so a lot of new stuff to help further the quality of my videos, which is awesome. Let's jump in and talk about Guardians of the Galaxy, shall we? Now, this isn't a video where I'm deciding which Guardians of the Galaxy movie is better. I'll say it right off the bat. I prefer the first one over the sequel. But there's nothing really wrong with the sequel. I just love the first Guardians of the Galaxy so much. And I cannot wait for James Gunn to return as director for Guardians 3 in a few years. There's a lot of theories relating to what's going to happen in that movie now that we've witnessed Infinity War and Endgame, where Guardians of the Galaxy have gone through quite a bit. We'll see what happens in Endgame. So, Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy was the 10th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and released in August of 2014, receiving a 92% from Rotten Tomatoes and drawing in a box office of over $270 million. It was directed by James Gunn and starred the likes of Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, and Dave Bautista. Basically, in this film, we are introduced to a legendary outlaw named Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord, who was taken away from Earth after his mother's death when he was little. The person who abducted him from Earth and didn't return him to his father like originally planned, Yondu, played by Michael Rooker, is kind of that father figure of Peter Quill and plays a huge part in the final battle in this movie. So basically, a villain of Kree descent named Ronan the Accuser makes a deal with Thanos that he will acquire the Power Stone, one of 6 Infinity Stones, and use it to destroy Xandar and then give it back to Thanos. His plan is interrupted when Peter Quill obtains the orb that holds the Power Stone and tries to sell it on Xandar. His buyer refuses, knowing the history of Ronan with Xandar and how he wants to destroy the entire planet. This leads to him meeting Gamora, one of the daughters of Thanos, who makes a deal with Ronan to, of course, obtain the orb. But she decides instead to sell it to a third party and go behind Ronan's back. But first, she must kill Peter Quill to get it. We also have a talking raccoon and tree, Rocket and Groot, who work side by side and are are looking to collect some bounties when they come across Peter Quill, who does indeed have a bounty on him. The four of them get into a fight on Xandar and are arrested by the Nova Corps. They escape prison alongside Drax the Destroyer, who wants nothing more than to kill Ronan the Accuser. The five unlikely heroes form a family bond over time and use this to become the Guardians of the Galaxy and destroy Ronan with the Power Stone.
You're immortal. How?
Said it yourself, bitch. We're the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yondu wants the orb, but Peter Quill switches it out with a fake and sends Yondu on his way, then makes the smart decision to give the orb to the Nova Corps, who, well, are destroyed alongside all of Xandar by Thanos later on in the franchise. The heroes become a team, and Peter Quill sets out to find details about his father, who apparently is some celestial being that no one has ever heard of before. And that's where Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 comes in. This one is the 15th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and released in May of 2017, receiving an 84% from Rotten Tomatoes and drawing in a box office over $389 million. Although it released 3 years after its predecessor, it takes place only 2 months after that story, and was also directed, once again, by James Gunn. When talking about Guardians of the Galaxy, I forgot to mention that Groot, the talking tree, sacrifices himself to save the rest of the gang. Luckily, Rocket, really depressed after this, is able to save a twig of Groot's that grows into a new Groot, and in this movie we have Baby Groot. Of course, the Guardians of the Galaxy are together once again, fighting a giant alien space monster to save some batteries for some golden people. Rocket messes everything up by stealing some of the batteries, and the Sovereign Fleet ends up chasing after the Guardians of the Galaxy, who ends up in a huge, ship battle. It's crazy, and it doesn't look so good for the Guardians until a tiny man on a really cool ship destroys all of the Sovereign Fleet. This man turns out to be Ego, Peter Quill's real father, and brings him to his planet, which is actually him. Ego, he calls himself the Living Planet. He has a sidekick who has antennas that helps him sleep. Her name is Mantis. She becomes an important part of the Guardians story. Ego turns out to be evil, no surprises there, and reveals that Peter Quill actually has his superpowers and wants to use them to take over the galaxy. But when Ego reveals that it was him that placed the tumor in Peter Quill's mother head, Peter goes insane and starts a war with Ego, the Living Planet. Also in this movie, Drax grows a relationship with Mantis. Gamora and her sister give up on trying to kill each other. Rocket and Yondu become pretty good friends until we see Yondu's demise at the end of the movie when he sacrifices himself to save Peter Quill, who had just gone through a lot. I mean, he figured out that his father killed his mother, then killed his father by turning into a giant Pac-Man and blowing up the entire planet. Baby Groot, Baby Groot's adorable. One of Yondu's men, Kraglin, actually joins the Guardians of the Galaxy and takes custody of Yondu's arrow after he dies. So that was the shortest summary for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Just some family problems, guys. Now, when the first Guardians of the Galaxy released, nobody really knew who the Guardians were. No one really cared. Like, oh my gosh, really? What is the Marvel Universe turning into? We have a talking raccoon, a CGI tree. What is this nonsense? And then the movie released, and wow, James Gunn was able to deliver something that nobody expected. He took the cosmic stuff that Thor failed and made it so much cooler. The way this movie handles the characters and how they form like this family bond is really emotional, and this movie carries so much heart with it and a lot of great action sequences as well. Who knew that a film could make you cry over a CGI talking tree that could only say a total of like 4 words? I didn't think they could, but they did.
No, Groot! You can't. You'll die. Why are you doing this? Why?
We are Groot.
This movie has everything from the humor to the heart to the all-around awesomeness of a Marvel Cinematic Universe film. And although it doesn't really follow the Avengers story, and when this film released, nobody really thought that it needed to be made. It became an important part in a lot of Marvel fans' hearts. And like I mentioned in the intro, what this film does well is use music to convey the story. From start to finish, this film has so much emotion behind it, and you really do get attached to these characters in a way you wouldn't expect. Plus the awesome space fighty stuff, it was the first time we saw this in the MCU, and it worked. It definitely did. That's why it was so awesome to see Ronan the Accuser back in Captain Marvel, and the fact that Captain Marvel really stole some of those Guardians of the Galaxy vibes. I really enjoyed that because I love the first Guardians of the Galaxy so freaking much. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, on the other hand, may not live up to its predecessor, but it's still a really enjoyable movie. It has these moments where it switches from hilarious comedy to super dark, like serious stuff. And once again, James Gunn succeeds on the cosmic vibes and conveying emotion through music and character moments. Like this time, the Guardians of the Galaxy are more separated from each other. It's not them together for the entire film, and that gives the film an opportunity to grow other relationships like Gamora and Nebula, Drax and Mantis, Rocket and Yondu, Peter Quill and his father. So much is happening here, and so many different, like, scenes happening, but they all work because they're all delivered in a way that carries a bunch of emotion and a bunch of funny, awesome moments that just make you like these characters. Kurt Russell was pretty good as Ego, who was a kind of weak villain and really predictable when he turned out to be evil. Some of the end stuff is a little bit wonky, but this movie does provide some really great action stuff. I thought it was hilarious once again. The soundtrack was amazing once again. Some of the camera angles were pretty whack. Some weird editing choices in there as well. But it was still super enjoyable. It does have some weak spots that I think could have been improved. But if you didn't love the Guardians of the Galaxy before Volume 2, then you certainly will walking out of it, because it's, once again, a film with a lot of heart, and you can tell that James Gunn was very passionate to delivering these characters to an audience in a fun way. I probably missed out on some stuff, but I don't want to talk forever, so thanks for watching my talk about Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know what else to call it. I freaking love these two movies. Guardians of the Galaxy films are probably some of my favorites in the MCU. Guardians of the Galaxy is at least in my top 5. I love that film. And Guardians of the Galaxy 2, like I said, it doesn't quite live up to what Guardians of the Galaxy 1 offered, but it's still a really good film. I know a lot of people give it a lot of undeserved hate. There is weak stuff in there. I admitted to that. But I laughed, I cried, it's emotional. That's what I want in a Marvel movie. And it's Chris Pratt. I love Chris Pratt. Baby Groot is so adorable, and then he ends up being teenage Groot, and so relatable. Later this week, we'll be tackling the Avengers trilogy, then into Endgame itself with some of my thoughts and predictions. I'll be seeing Endgame opening night Thursday, and I'm so excited. Can't wait to talk about that film with all of you. With that said, keep spoilers out of the comments, please, or I will block you permanently. Not joking around there. This movie means so much to me and a lot of other Marvel fans, and I really thank you guys so much for your support on this Endgame build-up series. Check out that Best Marvel Videos playlist, and follow me on Twitter at PopGamer1202, where I'm counting down the days till Endgame in a different way. Thank you so much for watching. It, like I said, means a lot. Adios. Do you like pina colada?
Hasn't been to space. You better not throw up on my ship.